Thank you, Assemblymember Wilson. Assemblymember Asaley, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My button? It's on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think this bill is everything that's wrong with our politics today. This bill is built on a foundation of disinformation, hyperbole, and fear-mongering. If the reality was, as my Democrat colleagues painted, I would agree with you. I'd be standing in support with you. But that's not the reality. So let's for once have an honest intellectual debate about what is happening at our schools and what's happening in this state. So let's have a little lesson on how we got here today. This all started when the California Department of Education, under Superintendent Tony Thurmond, issued guidance to school districts. The question was, may a student's gender identity be shared with parents? And the answer from the Department of Education was that no, because it would violate the student's privacy interests. Okay, for the first time in history, we had someone declare that students have a right to privacy from their parents. That's not in any law, and that's not in any case law. The courts have never held that. In fact, they've held the opposite, that parents have a right to raise and guide their kids. Based on this policy, this guidance, school districts implemented what we call secrecy policies. They told teachers, under no circumstances can you share the child's gender preferences with the parent, even if you're referring to them by a new name and gender at school. So teachers were put in a position to lie to parents. They refer to the child as one name, the birth name with the parent, and then a different name in class. That's what caused me to introduce Assembly Bill 1314 last year, which just said if a child requests the school to change their records to have a new gender, that information should be shared with parents. Not to stop the change, just to inform the parents. But this body would not even let that debate happen. This body suppressed its opposition, and it silenced me.
Mr. Asaley, we are debating AB 1955. We are not debating last year's bill.
Are we debating?
We are debating AB 1955. You are out of order.
I'm not out of order.
You are out of order.
All right. Well, let me get to 1955. The proponents have said, by the way, I am tired of being interrupted by you. You do not interrupt them.
You are.
Hold on a second. You do not.
We're going to move on to Mr. Zuber. You were out of order, Mr. Asaley. You were out of order?
I am not out of order. You're going to have to drag me out of here.
I won't have to drag you anywhere. You are out of order, Mr. Asaley. We ask you to have a seat because you were out of order. You were out of order. If you want to debate the bill, you were not debating the bill. You were debating a previous bill. You were explaining your displeasure over something that happened that was unrelated to this bill. You are out of order. If you want to debate this bill, I will grant you that privilege. But if you persist, we may just ask you to leave.
Mr. Speaker, with all respect, the proponents have said they introduced this bill because of what school districts did in California in response to my bill.
Mr. Asaley, you are talking again about your bill. We are not debating your bill. Your bill is not in order. Mr. Gallagher, you are asking a point of order?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, respectfully, the member was discussing the very subject matter of the bill, which deals with these notice policies. And that does relate back to previous legislation. And I agree that I understand what you're saying in terms of there was another bill. But the subject matter is very much on the same subject of this bill and this legislation. So I respectfully just request that the member be able to finish his debate on this subject matter, sticking to 1955, this bill, so that we can complete this debate on this floor and allow for all voices to be heard.
I will allow that if the member will stay with the bill at hand. We're not going to debate a bill that was not heard or previously presented. You may proceed with your debate on the bill on the floor.
How much time do I have left, Mr. Speaker?
Minute and 29 seconds.
I would like my time restored to when I was cut off.
Well, we were debating you, so you have
Okay.
a minute and 29 seconds, and you're using it up rapidly.
This is all right. Well, I wasn't prepared to address the Chinese Communist Party House today.
And you're
but I
not
will
addressing
do-
them now.
I will do
You're
my
out of
best.
order. You're
I
out
will
of
do
order.
my
You're
best.
disparaging the House.
I will do my best to wrap up. Okay, so we are here today because the proponents have said that school districts have passed dangerous parental notification policies such as Chino Valley's policy. My question is, how many of you have actually read Chino Valley's policy? I have it right here.
We are not debating Chino's policy. We're debating the bill.
Mr. Speaker, they are saying that schools are forcibly
You're
outing
using
kids.
the paper as a prop. That paper is out of order.
Okay, I will not use the paper.
You are recognized, Assemblymember Reyes, for your point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The member is using disparaging comments regarding members of our community, members of our body, and I ask that he refrain from that.
Your point of order is in order. Well
Your
taken.
point of order. You're disparaging the opposition by saying we want to erase trans kids, we want to put people back in closets. And I would ask that they refrain from disparaging our motives and intents, because that's absolutely not true.
They were not disparaging you. They were not disparaging your colleagues. Assemblymember Wilson, you are recognized for your point of order.
Thank you. Just like to note that there was a disparaging comment made that facts that were stated by me, specifically quoted by the member, were inaccurate. And they were stated as facts by me, as lived experience. And so we'd just like to note that for the record, that actually happened in my own life as I shared it as a fact. Thank you.
Okay, your point of order, Assemblymember Wilson, was well taken. I'm going to move on to Mr. Zuber now. I believed you used that up, Mr. Saley. We're moving on to Mr. Zuber. Your point of order is not well taken. It's not debatable. You do not. Your point of order is not well taken. Is not debatable. We're moving on to Mr. Zuber. Point of order is... I have ruled. We are moving on. That is in order. That takes a second. There's a second by Mr. Gallagher. There's appealing the ruling of the chair.
On my point of order?
On your point of order.
Yes, my point of order, Mr. Chair, is that you continually interrupt me.
Mr.
I am
Asili, you
overruled.
are out of order now. You are now disparaging the chair.
I am overruling.
You are out of order.
I am appealing your
This
ruling.
is not debatable.
I am appealing your ruling.
You are out of order.
I appeal your ruling. We'll do this all day.
You get 2 minutes, but you do not have the right to disparage the chair. If that disparages the chair, then you are out of order. The item before us is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? The chair is asking for an aye vote. Mr. Saley is asking for a no vote. I'll ask the clerk to open the roll.